right, can somebody give me kind of a summary of what has happened so far in the story up until this point? Gabby, go ahead.
So right now, there's Prince married to a princess, and she wanted to go on adventures and have fun, and all he did was stay at home and sleep. And then he left her.
Okay, so there are three main characters. We have the king, we have um, Prince Frederick, and then we have Ella. Ella being um, somebody from the town. She was a what did they call her? A servant to her step family. Um, the king doesn't like for the prince to do anything adventurous, and then the king holds a ball for the prince to find his princess, and he likes Ella, but Ella is looking for adventure, and he goes against the king and says, either you bring her to me or I will go and find her. I will leave the gates and go and find her, which obviously the king doesn't want. And then the prince sets up a picnic, because that's pretty much the only thing they do, is do picnics and things that are not stressful. Um, and then let's see, what is it? And then Ella sends a note to Frederick with the picnic. So this is where we've kind of left off. All right, so let's keep reading. It says, "Sweet, good-hearted Frederick, I'm terribly sorry to do this to you. I hope that someday you will understand why I had to leave. You seem very comfortable in your life here at the palace. I can't make you into someone who wants to climb mountains, paddle rushing rivers, and explore ancient ruins. You don't want to do those things, and that's fine. It's just not your cup of tea. Your cup of tea is, well, a cup of tea. But I need something more. When you mentioned that song about Rapunzel, it got me thinking. The prince in that story tried to rescue Rapunzel, but Rapunzel ended up rescuing him. Now, that girl is an inspiration. So I'm heading off to find her. I think Rapunzel and I will hit it off. I think she'll make a great partner for hunting down Pennyfeather. And even if we end up finding him at a boring old convention, like you say, who knows what kind of adventure will be in store for us along the way. Frederick, you're a lovely man, and I have nothing but good wishes for you. For what it's worth, the night at the ball really was the most romantic night of my life. All the best, Ella." Frederick dropped the letter onto his empty plate. So he thought the ball was the most romantic night of her life, huh? Well, that's not saying much coming from a girl whose typical night consists of scraping dead spiders out of a crack in the floorboard. And look how she signed it. All the best. That's how you sign a thank you note to your dog walker. Frederick had completely lost his appetite. Reginald? How does Frederick react to reading Ella's letter? Bad. I mean, is he... Okay, explain more. Go ahead, Jody. Right, right. She mentions about the ball being the most romantic night of her life, and that he's hurt by her signature because that's what you say to your dog walker, not what you say to a prince, um, or someone you're going to marry per se. All right, and it's kind of a cold reaction. All right, next page, 260, please. Am I really that boring? Frederick was back in his room, sitting slumped on the edge of his cashmere-covered bed, while Reginald, rigid as ever, stood next to him, awkwardly patting the prince's head. "There, there, my lord," the valet answered. "I don't think the Countess of Bellsworth would call you boring." Do you remember how elated she was when you taught her how to cha-cha? You have many, many admirers, sir. Yes, Frederick said sorrowfully, but Ella is apparently not among them. It seems that Lady Ella simply seeks a different kind of life than that which you can provide for her here at the palace, Reginald said. Poached eggs. How stupid can I be? Frederick smacked himself on the forehead. There will be other women, my lord. I don't want any other women. I want Ella. Reginald, what do you think I should do? And be honest with me. Don't tell me what you think my father would want you to say. Reginald considers this request. He's been caring for Frederick since the prince was a child, and he'd never been more proud of overbearing father. Frederick could use someone as feisty and fearless as Ella in his life. Don't let her get away, Reginald said, dropping his overly stiff posture and speaking in an unusual casual tone. Wow, Frederick gasped. Did you just get 2 inches shorter? Never mind me, Reginald said. Did you hear what I told you? Get a move on. Go after Ella. But how? Frederick asked, still bewildered to hear his longtime valet speaking like a regular person. Well, put you on a horse. Charlie can show you the basics. You don't need to be the world's best rider, you just need to be able to get around. Stick to the roads and you'll be fine. But I know you're scared, Frederick, but here's my advice. Get over it. Ella wants someone as adventurous as she is. A real hero. Then I've got no hope, Frederick sulked. I'm a fantastic dresser. My penmanship is top-notch. I'm really good at being a prince, but I'm pretty lousy at being a hero. Reginald looked him in the eye. There's a bit of courage in you somewhere. Find it. Go catch up with Ella, wherever she is, and just see what happens. She might be impressed enough that you've left the palace. And page 262. There's no way my father will allow me to do this. We won't tell him. He'll notice I'm gone eventually. And when he does, he'll send his men to retrieve me. Whichever way you go, I'll send them in the opposite direction. I'm still not sure I should. It's really dangerous out there. That's your father talking, Reginald said. Look, if you go on this journey, you're not just doing it for Ella. You're doing it for that little boy who once wanted to try everything. You mean my cousin Lawrence, who broke his leg trying to fly with those wax wings? Reginald looked at him soberly. Frederick, you don't really remember your mother, but I do, and I know what she want you to do. Frederick stood up. Okay, I'll go. That's the spirit, said Reginald. Frederick marched out of his room. A second later, he marched back in. I should probably change into something more appropriate for the outdoors, he said. Reginald put his arm around him. You don't own anything more appropriate for the outdoors, he said with a smile. Come, let's get you down to the stables. All right, let's look at the collaborative discussion question. It says, reread page 246 to 248. What do you learn about Frederick from the way he reacts to meeting Ella? Write it down. Write it on your book. Write it in the box on your book. All right, looking at question number 2. It says review page 260 to 262. How is Reginald's reaction to Ella's disappearance different from what the reader might expect? How is Reginald's reaction to Ella's disappearance different from what the reader might expect? doing the collaborative discussion questions on page 263. And then looking at number 3, it says, in what ways do Frederick and Ella seem alike, and what ways are they different? All right, raise your hand if you need another minute or two. Okay, you keep working, you're doing fine. right, raise your hand if you still need another minute or two. All right. Jordan, you done, buddy? No? Okay. Stop that. You're still working. I'll give you about 3 more minutes, and then we're going to go over. Alex, you're a car rider today. Yes, ma'am.
Miss Mello is over here with Miss Daisy. She's running, okay?
What?
Miss Mello is over with Miss Daisy to talk to the kids for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Hey guys, really quick before I begin, is anyone scared or allergic to dogs? Yeah. Raise your hand if you are. It's okay if you are. Okay. Okay, so, this is Daisy. She is my emotional support animal. her in my bag or on a leash. It's a red leash. I didn't bring it with me. So she will never be by herself. So she will be here with me to keep me company during the day. But I wanted to let you know. In the mornings or in the afternoon, she will be in my room and you may hear her. She may be upset because she's in a crate, kind of like a cage. So that way she can't get out. And she's not used to that. So, but she should settle down pretty quickly. I just wanted to let you know because you are the closest to me. So you may see me take her outside to use the bathroom or hear her in my classroom. But that's why she is here. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes. Yes. She's a Shih Tzu and a poodle, so she's called a Shih Tzu. Yes.
What's your dog name?
Daisy.
What's her last name?
Melon. Melon.
Miller?
Melon.
Miller?
M-E-L-L-O.
Is that your name?
Yes. You do? That's cool. Is the Maltese a Maltese too? I have one too. Yep. Maltese and Shih Tzu. Last night it was cool. Yep. Oh wow. Yep. I was German Shepherd. Alright guys, I'm gonna let you get back to work with Miss Piper. Thank you, Miss Piper, for letting me interrupt your class.
You're welcome.
Alright guys, have a good day.
All right, let's look at these. Let's go over these questions. All right, looking at number 1. It says, what do you learn about Frederick from the way he reacts to meeting Ella? Go ahead, Jody. See what? Okay. I guess he kind of gets some feelings. How else did he react?
He react like he's gonna be like kind of strong and tough, kind of.
Yeah. It reminded him of what? What did it remind him of?
Like adventure.
Go ahead, Gabby.
I learned that he's happy with Ella and he made an adventurous person.
Okay. It also reminded him of when he was a little boy, when he craved the adventurous life, and he met the knight from a long time ago. Number 2, it says, how was Reginald's reaction to Ella's disappearance different from what the reader might expect? So how is Reginald's reaction different than what the reader might expect? Well, how did Reginald react? At the end, what did he tell the prince to do? Go get her. Go get her. And that he's not really surprised that Ella ran away because he knew that Ella was an adventurous person. All right. In what ways do Frederick and Ella seem alike, and what ways are they different? Go ahead, Jody.
Ella, she has two stepsisters, and Frederick, he's tall, and both of them belong down.
Okay. Say that Frederick is a little more, let's see, how would I say it? Sheltered. He gets things done for him. He gets his hair brushed for him. He gets his clothes picked out for him. He doesn't really do anything adventurous compared to Ella. Ella has pretty much had to learn how to live and stuff on her own. She's new to the freedom thing. Okay. All right. Look at my thing. All right, so we're gonna look at homophones and homographs. Let me move this out of the way for a minute. Thinking I can zoom in here. Okay, maybe. I'll hold it up here. All right, so a homograph is a word that has more than one meaning or is pronounced, such as the word subject. And then a homophone is a word that pronounced the same way as another word, but it has a different meaning or different spelling. So if we look at the examples right here, it says she took a bow at the end of her performance. And then the second example is he used a bow and arrow to shoot the target. They're both the same spelling, but they have different pronunciations. One's bow and one's bow. And then you have the homophones. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same. So it says, I need a cup of flour to bake a cake. And then my favorite flower is a daisy. They're both spelled differently, but they both sound the same. All right, so remember we talked about point of view. What are our 2 points of view that we've talked about? First person point of view and third person point of view. First person being the what? Who's telling the story? I, me, my. So I'm the one telling the story. And then third person, who's telling the story? Somebody else is telling the story, saying they, she, he. Which point of view do you think this story is in? First person or third person point of view? We'll go back and look at page 262.
Oh, wait, no, it's first person.
It's first person because you see what word? The I, me's, and my's. Very good. So let's go to page 249 in our book. We're going to look at some points of view. Sorry. 249. All right, we're going to reread paragraph 13. And we're going to have to decide, is it being told in first person or third person point of view? Everybody should be on page 249. It says, ironically, it was Ella's bold and venturesome spirit, the very thing that Frederick found so attractive about her, that came between them. Ella's dreadful stepmother had treated her like a prisoner in her own home and forced her to spend nearly every waking hour performing onerous tasks like scrubbing grout or chipping congealed mayonnaise from between fork tins. While Ella suffered through all this, she dreamed of more exhilarating life. She fantasized about riding camels across deserts to search ancient temples for magic lamps, or scaling clouds and cloud-covered peaks to play games of chance with the ruler of hidden mountain kingdoms. She honestly believed that anything could happen in her future. It says, what point of view does the author use on this page? Third person. What are those keywords that you see in the text? How do you know that it's third person? She, Ella, Ella's dreadful. So the author can change the points of view from one page to the next. It can actually change. All right, now let's go to page, let me find my page, 261. All right, so it says, how would the story be different if Frederick were the narrator? Because in this one, Reginald's the narrator. How would it be different if Frederick were the narrator?
You'd be saying dramatic stuff.
Yeah, we would see it all through his eyes. Do you think we would know how Ella was truly feeling if it was in just his point of view? If it was just in the prince's point of view? No, we would only get the prince's point of view, so we wouldn't know anything about how Ella was feeling. All right, we're going to do vocabulary box method with our vocabulary words. I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do.
Vocabulary at home is cipher.
Well, I got the words here. You can copy them down again. All right, you're going to pick, let's see, there's
Oh, I found it.
oh, it's amazing. All right, you're gonna pick, let's do 10 words. 10 words, and you're gonna do the box method. Remember, the box method is the word in the middle. Get a bigger circle.
First, can I finish my vocabulary for yesterday and finish?
What?
Can I finish the vocabulary from yesterday first?
Yes. Let's see, what are my other parts? We have the picture.
It's cipher. Can I sharpen my pencil?
We have sentence. What do you say?
Can I sharpen my pencil?
Yes, you may. Picture, sentence, definition, and then part of speech. You're picking 10 words. Pick 10 words of our list. Picking 10 words, and you're doing the box method. You can pick any 10. All right, you got independent work to do. You've been given the directions. You're going to pick 10 of these 14 words, and you're going to do the box method with it. Remember, the word goes in the middle. Draw a picture, write a sentence, write the part of speech, write the definition. Everybody should be working at this point.